It's no secret, the NFL is absolutely loaded with athletic talent. From top to bottom, there are freak athletes throughout the league. Many of the ones who receive the most hype are the physical freaks taken during the first couple of rounds of the draft. Players like DK Metcalf, the Seattle Seahawks second-round wide receiver, who stole all of the headlines ahead of the 2019 NFL Draft with his godlike physique and blazing fast 4.33 40-yard dash time. Or the number 8 overall pick in the 2017 Draft, Christian McCaffrey, who has an insane athletic pedigree as his mom was a former Division I women's soccer player at Stanford and his dad was a star in the NFL. It makes sense though. Possessing such elite athleticism is invaluable as a skilled player in the NFL, especially now that so many teams need their wide receivers and running backs to perform multiple responsibilities at a high level. Gone are the days of running backs who only line up 7 yards behind the quarterback as he takes the snap from the under center. Likewise, gone are the days of wide receivers who only split out wide or only need to master 1 or 2 facets of a route tree. Nowadays, there are no shortage of creative formations and personnel packages put on display on any given Sunday, requiring the modern NFL athlete to be as versatile as they are talented. Interestingly, one NFL player, who is arguably the most versatile player in the entire league, was a guy that wasn't even drafted out of college. That player is Taysom Hill. Over the past couple of years, Hill has really made a name for himself down in New Orleans under head coach Sean Payton. He joined the team back in 2017 after being waived by the Green Bay Packers, the team that picked him up as an undrafted free agent following the 2017 NFL Draft. Despite being drafted as a quarterback, the position he had played his entire life, Hill's first real opportunity to play in New Orleans came on special teams, something that is unheard of for a QB prospect. But Taysom Hill, you see, was not any old quarterbacking prospect. There is really nothing that Taysom Hill can't do on a football field.
Is there anything they can't do?
He possesses the athleticism and grit of a running back, with the mind of a quarterback and the ball skills of a wide receiver. But what is perhaps most remarkable about Taysom Hill, maybe even more so than his production in the NFL, is his journey all the way from Pocatello, Idaho, to the highest level in his profession. While his pedigree isn't quite as elite as the aforementioned Christian McCaffrey's, Hill, too, was born in a very athletic family. Both his parents were standout in track and field during their youths, with his mother, Natalie, also playing volleyball, while his dad, Doug, lined up on the gridiron. The duo aptly named Taysom after Taysom Construction, a local construction company, in the hopes that their son would be a sturdy structure built from a lot of solid parts. So in some ways, he really was born to be the jack of all trades that he has become. His parents weren't the only ones who influenced Hill, both in life and football. He was fortunate to have 2 older brothers, Jordan and Dexter, who played for the same Highland High team that Taysom watched as a kid. And of course, there was also his sister Celeste. Taysom's closest role model, though, was Dexter. Their high school coach, Gina Mariani, explained that the two had very similar skill sets and the same competitive fire, just his older brother was a little smaller. Taysom started off the freshman year of his high school career in the same way that he started his NFL career, as a Swiss Army knife. On a team with an established quarterback, even playing some defensive snaps when the team really needed a boost. To take it even further, Hill took over as the team's quarterback, place kicker, and kick returner his sophomore year. No wonder he has looked so comfortable with the litany of responsibilities that Coach Payton throws his way. As an upperclassman at Highland, Hill really started to emerge as a bona fide stud. He was up to 6 foot 2 inches and weighed 220 pounds. Simply put, he was a man amongst boys. Despite the fact that Pocatello was far from a hot spot for Power 5 recruiters, Hill's dominance garnered looks from a bunch of big-time college coaches, including Jim Harbaugh, who was still at Stanford at the time. The two hit it off, and Hill was signed to go play for Coach Harbaugh at Stanford, but then both of their plans changed fast. Harbaugh got an offer to coach the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL, while Hill decided to go to BYU instead, but not until he completed a 2-year Latter-day Saints mission in Australia, meaning even though he completed high school in 2009, his freshman season at BYU wasn't until 2012. At BYU, it was again more of the same for Hill. He pulled up to Provo as a backup quarterback, but quickly showed that he was too talented to keep on the sidelines. He won 2 starts for the Cougars his freshman year and played in 6 games before suffering a season-ending injury against Utah State. Injuries are something that would unfortunately plague Hill during his collegiate career, as he would only play in 37 games over 5 seasons, including 1 year as a medical redshirt. He did, however, earn the full-time job as a sophomore and got off to a hot start, throwing for nearly 3,000 yards and notching 19 touchdowns. But then Hill suffered another season-ending injury, the second of 4 during his time at BYU. Unfortunately for Taysom, the injuries were far from the worst part of his tenure at BYU. In March of 2016, his older brother Dexter succumbed to a battle with opioid addiction at just 31 years old. This was devastating to Taysom, who had long looked up to his brother ever since Dexter's days as the star quarterback at Highland Hills School. Taysom credits Dexter for teaching him the power of perseverance. Taysom told the Idaho State Journal, "That's what I learned from Dex, his competitive nature. Dex had to work for everything he had." Taysom decided to honor his older brother by switching from number 4 to 7, the same number Dexter had donned during his playing days, and the same number Hill still wears today in New Orleans. He took the lessons he learned from his older brother and continued to put them to work, putting together a strong final season in Provo, albeit one that was again ended by injury. But still, it was enough to get on the radar of some NFL scouts, especially after his electric Pro Day performance, where he flaunted his next-level athleticism for the scouts that came to watch. Hill ran a 4.44-second 40-yard dash and cleared 38.5 inches on his vertical jump, which is insane for a quarterback, especially when you consider that he came in at about 6 foot 2 inches, right around 230 pounds. For a point of reference, his 40 time was over a full 1/10 of a second faster than Cam Newton's, and his vertical was over 1/4 of a foot higher. It wasn't just his athleticism that blew away the experts that were evaluating Hill. It was evident from speaking with Hill and others around the team that he was one of the grittiest and most determined prospects they would come across. He was going to make it to the NFL. Whether he got his start as a quarterback or not, it was nothing he hadn't overcome before. One anecdote from an NFL scout who attended Hill's Pro Day really sums up this side of the QB. He told him, "We really like you as a quarterback, but what if I told you we want to bring you to camp, and that might involve playing some running back or doing some other things? How would you respond to that?" Hill responded by saying, "I'll do whatever it takes." Anyway, Hill was anxious to earn any opportunity that he could in the NFL, so after being waived by the Packers, he jumped on Sean Payton's request to join New Orleans on its special teams unit. And when he said whatever it takes, he meant it. He capitalized on his perseverance and adaptability and ended up getting promoted to the active roster in December, recording 2 tackles in his debut against the Carolina Panthers. Heading into the 2018 season, it became evident that Coach Payton had bigger plans in mind for the BYU product. He was listed as third-string quarterback to start off the year, but he made an impact all over the field for New Orleans, including as the team's primary kick returner. He ended up making a number of huge plays throughout the year, blocking a couple of punts in key situations, converting a fake punt in the team's divisional round game against the Eagles, even hucking the ball downfield a few times on gadget plays. He was third on the team in rushing yards, played nearly 60 snaps at quarterback and at tight end, lined up in the slot or out wide, and of course he was a beast on special teams, playing over 340 snaps there. That is crazy to think about, a third-string quarterback that is athletic enough to score a touchdown as a runner, passer, and receiver, and ball out on special teams. Christian Hackenberg could never. During the 2019 season, Hill really took his versatile, game-breaking impact to the next level, particularly in the offensive phase of the game, breaking the record for most touchdown receptions by a quarterback in a single season. He probably would have had even better numbers if starting quarterback. Drew Brees didn't miss significant time with a thumb injury, bumping Hill up to QB duties. Following Brees' injury, Coach Payton had to cut back his usage during games, just in case anything were to happen to the interim starter, Teddy Bridgewater. That's not to say he still wasn't a factor in a million different ways for the Saints. I mean, during Week 13 against the Falcons, he blocked a punt, rushed for a 30-yard touchdown, and caught a touchdown, what an absurd stat line. Where Taysom Hill's story ends, who's to say? But if history has proven anything, it is that all Taysom Hill needs is a chance. Time after time, he has gotten his foot in the door, and the next thing you know, he's leading the team and torching opposing defenses with his athleticism. Coach Payton certainly wasn't counting out Hill's future as a quarterback in the league, saying, "I think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I'm excited about his prospects as a quarterback. He's strong, he can't run, he's accurate. He's got a quick throwing motion. He's got a real good stroke. I think there are traits of Steve Young. People forget it took a while for Young to move and to get into a system and then all of a sudden play at a high level. For now, I am sure that Payton is just happy to have Hill as his one-size-fits-all solution. But still, having his coach's blessing going forward bodes well for his future as a quarterback. Not only does he have Payton's support, he has had the good fortune to develop a close relationship with longtime starter and future Hall of Famer Drew Brees, who at 40 likely doesn't have a ton of football left in him. Their bond was formed in part because Brees was blown away by Hill's ability to learn and his dedication to the team. Brees explained it by saying the following: as a quarterback, he is trying to master this 1,000 play playbook and master the position. Now you want him to run down on kickoffs, and you want him to be the personal protector on the punt team, and you want him to return kickoffs. Then you want him to go in and run block defensive ends, block strong safeties, crack linebackers, run out for passes, get in the backfield. That's unbelievable. This is a sentiment that echoes throughout the Saints locker room, which is why you see the sidelines erupt when Hill makes a play, because they know how much work he puts in. Anyway, because of the pair's connection, Brees has really opened up his entire process to Hill, teaching him how he prepares, little things he looks for in the opposing defense. They even conduct their off-day routines together. If Hill, who is already 28, ever does become a starter in the league, it will be hands down one of the most unbelievable NFL stories ever. All I know is Taysom Hill is not a guy that I advise betting against. Do you believe Taysom Hill deserves a chance to be the starting quarterback in the NFL? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.